Ethan sat quietly near the wide window of the transport ship, staring at the endless stars. The stars looked the same as the ones near Earth, but he knew they were far away, light years from home. He was an engineer, not a diplomat or soldier, and sometimes he wondered why he had been chosen for this journey. The leaders back on Earth had said they wanted a team that showed all kinds of humans, not just military or politicians. Still, Ethan often felt out of place among the serious faces of captains and ambassadors. The ship was moving toward a planet that had never allowed humans to land before. The people who lived there were known as the Cerilith. For many years they had kept to themselves, sending only distant messages but never welcoming outsiders. They were mysterious, even feared by some, though no one had proof they meant harm. Now, for the first time, they had agreed to meet in person. To Ethan, it felt unreal, like something out of one of the old stories his father used to tell him when he was a boy. He thought about his father and his quiet hometown, a place full of trees and rivers. It seemed so far away now. Ethan reminded himself that he was part of something important, something that could change the future of his people. That thought gave him strength, though he still felt nervous. The others on the ship were busy with preparations. The captain gave orders in a calm but firm voice. The diplomats practiced speeches, repeating them again and again until the words sounded like they had no feeling left. The soldiers checked their weapons even though they had been told this mission was peaceful. Everyone had their role and everyone seemed confident. Ethan stayed quiet, watching, waiting, and fixing small technical problems when asked. When the ship finally reached the alien world, Ethan pressed his forehead against the glass and stared. The planet was covered in wide silver clouds, glowing faintly from the light of its sun. Beneath the clouds were oceans that sparkled like liquid crystal, reflecting the strange light back into space. It was unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. He felt both fear and wonder. The landing was smooth. The ship touched down on a platform that rose out of the ocean itself. Structures of shining stone and glowing crystal surrounded them. They looked delicate, almost like they could break with one strong wind, yet they stood tall and unshaken. The air outside shimmered faintly as though filled with unseen energy. Ethan took a deep breath when the doors opened, unsure what to expect. The Cerilith were waiting. They were tall, slender beings with pale skin that caught the light like polished glass. Their eyes were large, brighter than human eyes, and full of shifting colors that seemed to move like waves. They wore robes of flowing fabric that shimmered as they walked. The humans stepped forward in careful lines following their leader. Ethan tried to remain calm, but he felt his chest tighten. He had read about the Cerilith in reports, but seeing them in person was different. They were beautiful in a way that did not seem real. Yet their stillness made him uneasy. They did not smile or show warmth. They only bowed their heads slightly in greeting. The captain spoke first, followed by the lead diplomat, a woman named Laura, who had trained for years for this meeting. Ethan stood behind them, silent, holding a small case of equipment in case anything broke down. He told himself he was only here for technical support, not for speaking. He tried to focus only on his work, but as the hall grew quiet after the first greetings, Ethan felt something strange. It was not a sound, not exactly. It was more like a soft touch in his mind, a breath of words that almost faded before he could understand. He blinked and looked around. No one else seemed to notice. The Cerilith stood still. The humans were busy writing notes and whispering to one another. Yet Ethan felt it again, this time clearer. "Come to me, human." The words were so faint he wondered if he imagined them. He rubbed the back of his neck, shaking his head. He wanted to believe it was only his nerves. Still, the whisper had felt real. He looked across the wide hall where the Cerilith stood in perfect rows. And then he saw her. She was not like the others. She was smaller, her silver eyes brighter, sharper. While the rest of the Cerilith kept their attention fixed on the diplomats, she looked straight at him. Her gaze pierced him as if she knew his name, as if she had been waiting. For a brief moment he thought he saw her lips move, though no sound reached his ears. Ethan's heart beat faster. He quickly looked away, hoping no one noticed his reaction. He told himself it was nothing. Maybe he was just imagining things. The journey had been long and he was tired. That was all. But deep inside he knew it was not his imagination. The rest of the meeting passed slowly. The leaders spoke about peace, about trade, about friendship between their worlds. The words were careful, heavy with meaning. Ethan only half heard them. His thoughts kept returning to the girl with the silver eyes. He felt her gaze like a weight pressing against his chest. When the meeting ended, the humans were led to their quarters in the alien city. The halls were made of glass-like walls that shone with light from inside. The air smelled faintly sweet like flowers. Ethan's group talked in low voices about the success of the meeting. They were pleased, though cautious. He followed quietly, pretending to listen, but his mind was far away. That night, Ethan could not sleep. He lay on the soft bed given to him by their hosts, staring at the ceiling where small lights flickered like stars. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard the whisper again. "Come to me, human." It was not loud, not forceful, but gentle and insistent, like a song carried by the wind. He sat up, breathing hard. The voice felt close, too close. He touched his head, wondering if he was sick. Yet he felt no pain, no fever, only the voice. He thought of Laura, his friend, who might believe him if he told her. But what could he say? That an alien girl was calling to him without words? That he felt as if his thoughts were not his own? Ethan decided to keep it secret, at least for now. He lay back down, but the whisper did not leave him. It stayed soft as a dream, echoing in his mind until sleep finally pulled him under. And in his dreams he saw her, the girl with silver eyes standing in a garden of crystal trees. She reached out her hand toward him, her lips moving with the same words he had already heard. "Come to me, human." When Ethan woke, his heart was racing. The image of her eyes stayed with him, clear and sharp like a flame in the dark. He knew then that his journey was no longer just about peace talks or engineering tasks. Something else had begun. Something he did not understand. Something that felt like destiny. Ethan woke with a start the next morning, the image of the silver-eyed girl still fresh in his mind. He rubbed his face and tried to tell himself it had only been a dream. But deep down he knew it was not just a dream. The voice had felt too real, too alive, as if someone had reached into his thoughts and placed it there. He joined the rest of the crew for breakfast in the alien city. The humans sat around a long table while their hosts watched silently. Strange fruit-like food was placed before them, glowing faintly as if carrying its own light. The diplomats spoke in low voices, careful to appear calm. Soldiers kept their eyes sharp, never fully relaxing. Ethan ate quietly, but his mind was somewhere else. Laura, the medical officer, sat beside him. She noticed his distant look. "You okay?" she asked softly. Ethan forced a smile. "Yeah, just didn't sleep well." Laura studied him for a moment, but said nothing more. She knew him well enough to understand when he was holding something back. Ethan was grateful she did not press further. He was not ready to tell her about the whisper in his mind. After the meal, the humans were led through the alien city by tall Seraph guides. The city was unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. Buildings rose high like towers of glass, but they were shaped with curves and flowing lines, as though grown instead of built. The ground glowed faintly under their feet, lighting their way without lamps. Streams of clear water ran through the streets, crossing between the structures and filling the air with a soft sound of flowing. Ethan walked with the others, pretending to admire the city, but he felt restless. At times he thought he felt a faint pull, like a thread tugging at his chest, guiding him in some direction. He tried to ignore it, focusing on the voices of the diplomats as they spoke with the Seraph about trade and knowledge. Still, the pull did not fade. Later that day, as the talks continued, Ethan heard the whisper again. It came suddenly, while he was adjusting a piece of equipment for the captain. He froze, his hand still on the machine. "Come to me, human." The voice was soft yet clear. His eyes darted around the hall, searching. And there she was again. Across the wide space, hidden slightly among her people, the silver-eyed girl was staring at him. No one else seemed to notice her focus. Her lips moved slightly, though no sound carried. He knew the words without hearing them. Ethan felt his throat go dry. He looked down quickly, afraid someone would see him staring back. His heart pounded so loudly he was sure the others could hear. He finished his work and stepped back, keeping his face calm. But inside, the voice echoed again and again. That night, Ethan lay awake once more. His thoughts were full of questions. Who was she? Why was she calling to him? What did she want? He could not understand why she had chosen him, an engineer with no power or influence. Yet he could not deny the strange bond he felt. It was as if her voice was now part of him. The next day, Ethan decided to speak with Laura. He needed to share the burden with someone. When they were alone, Walking through a quiet corridor of the alien building, he finally spoke. "Laura," he began, his voice low. "Have you ever felt like someone was speaking to you without words?" Laura raised an eyebrow. "You mean like telepathy?" "Something like that," Ethan said. He hesitated, then continued. "Since we got here, I've been hearing a voice. Soft but clear. It keeps saying the same thing. Come to me, human. And I think it's coming from one of them." Laura stopped walking. She looked at him carefully, trying to see if he was joking, but his face was serious. "Ethan, that's dangerous," she whispered. "If one of them is inside your head, it could mean they're trying to control you. We don't know their abilities." "I don't think it's like that," Ethan said quickly. "It doesn't feel like control. It feels like a call. Like she wants me to find her." Laura frowned. "She?" "Yes," Ethan admitted. "One of them. A girl with silver eyes. I've seen her watching me during the meetings." Laura shook her head. "Ethan, listen to yourself. You're being pulled into something you don't understand. This could put all of us at risk. You can't let them use you." Ethan nodded slowly, but her warning did not quiet the voice in his mind. Even as Laura spoke, he felt it again, gentle and steady. "Come to me, human." That night, the pull became too strong. Ethan lay awake until he could no longer resist. He rose quietly, careful not to wake the others, and slipped out of his quarters. The alien halls were silent, glowing faintly with soft light. The air smelled sweet, and his footsteps echoed softly. He did not know where he was going, yet his feet seemed to find the way. The voice guided him, gentle but firm, pulling him through winding paths. He passed through gardens of crystal plants, their leaves glowing faint blue. He crossed over bridges where streams of liquid light flowed beneath. The city seemed alive, whispering with quiet energy. Finally, he reached a hidden garden deep within the city. Crystal trees stood tall, their branches shining like stars. Flowers opened and closed with slow breaths, releasing faint glowing mist. And there she was, waiting. The silver-eyed girl stood near the center of the garden. Her robe shimmered in the faint light, and her eyes glowed brighter than the stars above. She did not move as he entered, but he felt her presence like a warmth against his skin. Ethan stopped, his heart racing. He opened his mouth, but no words came. It was she who spoke first, though her lips barely moved. "You came." Her voice was soft, but now it was real, not just inside his mind. Ethan swallowed hard. "Who are you?" "My name is Lysara," she said. "I am one of the Seralith, but not like the others." "Why me?" Ethan asked. "Why are you speaking to me?" Lysara stepped closer, her eyes never leaving his. "Because you hear me. None of your people would, but you do. I have been calling, waiting, and you answered." Ethan shook his head, confused. "I don't understand. What do you want from me?" Lysara's gaze softened, though her eyes still shone like silver fire. "I want you to know me. I want you to see what others cannot. I have lived in silence among my people, bound by their laws. But when I saw you, I felt something I have never felt before. A bond." Her words sent a shiver through Ethan. He wanted to doubt her, to step back, but he could not. He felt the truth in her voice, in the way her presence filled the air around him. "I don't know what this means." Ethan whispered. "I don't know what I'm supposed to do." Lysara reached out her hand. "You are not here by chance, Ethan. You were brought here for me as I was brought here for you. Together we can change what our people believe. But only if you trust me." Ethan looked at her hand, then at her glowing eyes. His chest tightened with fear and wonder. Slowly, almost against his own will, he lifted his hand toward hers. Their fingers touched lightly, and in that moment a flood of warmth surged through him. It was like sunlight breaking through darkness. He gasped, stepping back, but the warmth did not fade. It stayed within him, filling him with a strange calm. Lysara smiled faintly, the first sign of emotion he had seen from any Seralith. "You see," she whispered, "we are not strangers. We were meant to find each other." Ethan stood frozen, unsure of what would happen next. All he knew was that nothing in his life would ever be the same again. Ethan stood in the garden of crystal trees, his hand still tingling from where it had touched Lysara's. The warmth that had rushed through him had not faded, and he could not explain it. It was not only a feeling in his skin, but also in his chest, in his very thoughts. He felt both afraid and calm at the same time. He wanted to ask her more questions, but the words refused to form. Lysara watched him with eyes that glowed like liquid silver. Her presence was powerful yet gentle, as though she carried a storm and a song within her at the same time. She tilted her head slightly and spoke softly. "You are afraid, but do not fear me. I have waited a long time for this." Ethan finally found his voice. "Waited for me? That doesn't make sense. I don't even know you. I shouldn't even be here. If the others find out, they will not know," Lysera interrupted calmly. "You are safe here for now. The garden is hidden. Only I can guide you to this place." Her words made Ethan's heart pound faster. He looked around at the glowing trees and flowers, at the streams of light flowing like water, and he knew she was telling the truth. This was not a place meant for outsiders. Somehow she had brought him here. He stepped back, shaking his head. "This isn't right. I came here with my people. I have a duty." "I can't just—" "You can," Lysera said, her voice firm but soft. "You feel it, don't you? The bond between us. You hear my call because you were meant to. Others cannot. They walk past me without seeing, without knowing. But you saw me the first moment we met. You heard me. That means something." Ethan wanted to deny it, but he could not. Ever since the first whisper in his mind, he had felt drawn to her. He had told himself it was imagination or exhaustion or stress, but now standing before her he knew it was real. Something connected them in a way he could not understand. He lowered his voice. "Why me? I'm just an engineer. I don't have power. I don't have influence. I fix things when they break. That's all." Lysera took a step closer. "That is why. You are not blinded by ambition. You are not chained by duty or pride. You see the world with open eyes. That is why I chose you." Ethan's chest tightened. He could not look away from her eyes, glowing softly in the night. He wanted to trust her, yet he knew the danger. If the Saralith leaders discovered she had spoken to him, it could ruin everything. If his own captain discovered it, he would be ordered never to see her again. "I shouldn't be here," he whispered, more to himself than to her. "But you are," Lysera replied, "and you will come again." Her words sank deep into him as if they were already true. Ethan turned away, trying to steady his breath. He told himself he would leave, return to his quarters, and forget this had ever happened. Yet even as he thought it, he knew it was impossible. That night, Ethan lay awake in his bed, staring at the ceiling. He could still feel the warmth of her hand in his own. He could still hear her voice, not only in his memory, but echoing faintly in his mind. "You will come again." He wanted to resist, but part of him longed to see her once more. The next day, Ethan forced himself to focus on his duties. The diplomats were meeting again with the Saralith Council. Talks about trade agreements filled the air. Ethan checked equipment, adjusted systems, and listened quietly. He tried to look calm, but inside he felt restless. Several times during the meeting, he looked across the hall, searching for Lysera. At first he did not see her, but then near the back of the room she appeared. Her silver eyes found him immediately, and though she did not speak aloud, Ethan heard her clearly. "Tonight." The word echoed in his mind like a promise. Ethan's hands trembled slightly. He quickly looked down at his work, hoping no one noticed. Later, when the meeting ended, Laura approached him. She studied his face carefully. "You look tired," she said. "Are you sure you're all right?" "I'm fine," Ethan replied quickly. Too quickly, Laura frowned. "Ethan, you're hiding something." "I know you. You don't usually look this distracted." He forced a small laugh. "It's just the pressure. This place is overwhelming. The city, the people, it's a lot to take in." Laura didn't look convinced, but she let the matter drop. "Just be careful. We're guests here. One mistake could cause real damage." Ethan nodded, but her words only deepened his guilt. He knew he was already making mistakes. He knew he was walking into something dangerous. And yet that night, when the halls grew quiet and the others slept, he rose once again and followed the pull in his chest. The path was different this time, but he did not question it. He crossed bridges of glowing stone, passed through arches carved with symbols that shimmered faintly, and finally entered the hidden garden again. And there she was, waiting. Lysera stood near the crystal trees, her robe flowing like water around her. Her eyes lit up when she saw him, and for the first time Ethan thought he saw her smile. It was small, almost hidden, but it was real. "You came," she said softly. "I shouldn't have," Ethan replied. "If anyone finds out, no one will," Lysera said. "This place is hidden from them. Only you and I can walk here." Ethan stepped closer, unable to stop himself. Why are you doing this? Why me? Lysara's gaze grew serious. Because I am not free. My people live by strict laws. We are told who we may speak to, where we may go, what we may believe. I am watched always, but when I saw you I felt a bond I have never felt before. You are not bound by our chains. You are different. You can see me as I am, Ethan's breath caught. He realized then that she was risking everything just to meet him. If her people discovered her secret, she could be punished. Yet here she was, standing before him without fear. I don't want to cause trouble for you, he said softly. You already have, Lysara said with a faint smile, but it is the kind of trouble I welcome. Ethan laughed quietly, shaking his head. You don't even know me. I know enough, she replied. I know your heart is not closed. I know you listened when others would not. That is enough. For a long moment they stood in silence, the glowing garden surrounding them like a dream. Ethan wanted to stay there forever, away from the weight of duty and fear. But he knew the world outside would not wait. Eventually he would have to return. Before he left, Lysara spoke again, her voice gentle but firm. Ethan, promise me you will come again. There is more I must show you. Ethan hesitated. His heart told him yes, but his mind screamed no. Finally he whispered, I promise. When he returned to his quarters, he lay awake for hours, staring into the dark. He knew he was already caught in something far larger than himself. And though fear pressed against him, so did wonder. He could not escape the feeling that his life was no longer his own. The next morning, as he walked with his crew through the shining halls of the alien city, he realized that every step he took was now divided between two worlds, the world of duty and the world of Lysara's call. He did not know how long he could keep them apart. But he knew one thing with certainty. He would go to her again, no matter the cost. Ethan woke with a heavy heart. The promise he had made to Lysara the night before weighed on him, and yet he did not regret it. Her silver eyes had stayed with him through the night, glowing in his dreams, calling to him. He wanted to see her again, but he also knew the danger was growing. If anyone discovered what he was doing, everything could fall apart. The day began with more meetings between the human diplomats and the Seraph Council. Ethan followed his crew into the Great Hall, standing behind the captain as always. He kept his head lowered, trying to look calm, but inside he felt restless. He searched the rows of the Seraph and found her again. Lysara stood among her people, her gaze hidden from most, but Ethan saw it. For a brief moment their eyes met. She did not speak in his mind this time, but the connection was still there, quiet but strong. The talks were tense. The humans wanted trade agreements and promises of peace. The Seraph leaders spoke slowly, carefully, as if every word carried great weight. Ethan barely heard them. His thoughts were divided between duty and the secret he carried. He knew Lysara would want to meet again, and he knew he could not refuse her. That night, when the halls grew silent, Ethan slipped away once more. His steps were steady now, no longer filled with fear but with certainty. The path to the hidden garden felt like it was already written in his heart. When he arrived, Lysara was waiting. She stood among the crystal trees, her robe glowing faintly in the starlight. You kept your promise, she said softly. I had to, Ethan replied, but it's dangerous. If someone finds out, they will not, she said quickly. This place belongs only to us. No one else can enter. Ethan sighed, running a hand through his hair. Lysara, why are you risking this? What if your people discover you're meeting me? What will happen to you? Lysara's eyes darkened, though they still glowed faintly. If they discover me, I will be punished. I may be cast out, but I do not fear that. I fear a life of silence more. All my years I have followed their laws. I have been quiet when I wanted to speak. I have stood still when I wanted to move. But now with you I feel free. Even if the price is high, I would pay it. Her words struck Ethan deeply. He had never thought of freedom in that way before. On Earth he had always felt ordinary, just another face in the crowd. But here, in this strange world, he was something different. He was someone Lysara had chosen, someone she believed in. I don't want you to be hurt because of me, he said. Lysara stepped closer, her voice firm. It is not only because of you. It is because of us. You and I are connected, Ethan. That bond cannot be broken, not by them, not by anyone. Ethan felt his chest tighten. He wanted to believe her, but he knew the risks. Still, he could not walk away. Her presence was too strong, her voice too deep within him. They walked together through the garden. Lysara showed him places hidden even deeper, where crystal flowers opened only at night, releasing light like falling stars. She told him stories of her people, stories not shared with outsiders. She spoke of the old laws that bound them, of the council that ruled with silence and fear, and she spoke of her dream, a dream of change. "I want my people to see the world beyond their walls," Lysara said, "but they will not listen to me. They say I am young, that I do not understand. They believe silence is strength, but I believe strength is in trust. If they see us, if they see what we share, they may begin to change." Ethan stopped, staring at her. "You want them to know about us?" "Not yet," she said quickly. "But one day, when the time is right, they must see that we are not weaker for reaching out. We are stronger." Ethan shook his head slowly. "If the council finds out too soon, they'll punish you, and they'll send me away." "I know," Lysara said. "That is why we must be careful. But promise me, Ethan. Promise you will not leave me no matter what happens." Ethan hesitated, but when he looked into her silver eyes, he felt the bond between them tighten. He nodded. "I promise." Days passed, and Ethan continued to balance two lives. By day, he worked with his crew, fixing machines and watching the talks between humans and Serelith. By night, he slipped away to the hidden garden, where he and Lysara shared secrets no one else could know. Each time he saw her, the bond grew stronger. Each time he left her, the weight in his chest grew heavier. But soon, the danger arrived. One evening, as Ethan returned quietly from the garden, he found Laura waiting near his quarters. Her arms were crossed and her eyes were sharp. "Where have you been?" she asked. Ethan froze. His mind raced for an excuse, but the truth hung heavy in the air. "I was walking," he said weakly. "Walking?" Laura repeated, her voice flat. "Ethan, don't lie to me. I know you. You've been slipping away at night. I've seen you." Ethan's stomach dropped. He had been careful, or so he thought. But Laura had noticed. He opened his mouth, but no words came. Laura stepped closer, lowering her voice. "It's her, isn't it? The one you told me about. The silver-eyed girl." Ethan's heart pounded. He swallowed hard. "Laura, do you realize what you're doing?" Laura hissed. "You're putting all of us at risk. If the council finds out, if the captain finds out—" "I know," Ethan interrupted, his voice low. "I know the risks. But I can't stop. She's different. She's not like the others. Laura, she's reaching out, and if I turn away, then you're a fool." Laura cut in sharply. "Ethan, you don't understand them. You don't know what they're capable of. You think she cares about you, but what if it's a trick? What if they're using you?" Ethan shook his head firmly. "No, it's real. I know it's real." Laura stared at him for a long moment, then sighed heavily. "I can't stop you, can I?" Ethan lowered his eyes. "No, you can't." Laura turned away, her voice cold. "Then pray you're right. Because if you're wrong, it won't just be you who pays the price." Her words stayed with Ethan all through the night, but when the whisper came again in his mind, soft, steady calling, he could not resist. He returned to Lysara. This time, however, something was different. As they walked together in the garden, Lysara suddenly grew still. Her silver eyes flickered with fear. She looked toward the crystal trees as if sensing something. "What is it?" Ethan asked, his chest tightening. "We are not alone," Lysara whispered. Ethan turned but saw nothing. The garden was quiet, glowing softly as always. Yet Lysara's fear was real. "They are watching," she said. "The council suspects. They may already know." Ethan's blood ran cold. His secret was no longer safe. Their bond was no longer hidden. The world around them was about to change, and he knew the choice he made next would decide everything. Ethan felt the weight of the world pressing down on him as he entered the hidden garden. The night was calm, yet the air seemed charged with a quiet tension. He knew Lysara was waiting, but this time, the feeling in the garden was different. Something had changed. Their secret was no longer fully safe. Lysara stood among the glowing crystal trees, her silver eyes scanning the shadows. When she saw him, a faint smile appeared, but her worry was evident. "They know," she whispered. Ethan's heart sank. "The council?" Lysara nodded. "They suspect my connection to you. They may already be watching the paths to this garden. We must be careful." Ethan took a deep breath. "What do we do?" She looked at him, her expression serious but calm. "We cannot hide anymore. The bond between us is strong. We must show them that it is not weakness but strength. We must be brave." Ethan's chest tightened. He had always followed rules and orders, but now he realized he was stepping into something bigger than any law or command. He had a choice, to run or to stand beside Lysara. "I'm with you," he said finally. Lysara reached out and took his hand. The warmth spread through him instantly, calming his fears and filling him with courage. "Then let us begin," she said. They moved through the garden, preparing themselves. The night seemed alive around them, the crystal trees shimmering with energy as if aware of their purpose. Ethan felt a new strength growing within him. He was not alone. Lysara was beside him, and together they would face whatever came. At dawn, the humans and Sarilith gathered once more in the great hall. The council had arranged an unexpected meeting. Ethan's heart pounded as he entered, knowing that this could be the moment everything changed. Lysara stood before the council, her silver eyes shining with determination. She had chosen to speak openly, revealing the bond between them. The room fell silent. Ethan stood behind her, feeling the weight of countless eyes upon him. He was frightened, but he did not falter. "My counsel," Lysara began, her voice steady. "I have broken the rules to meet with this human. I have risked everything, but I do not regret it. He is not here to control me, nor I him. We share a bond of trust and understanding, and in that bond there is strength, not weakness." The council members exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable. Ethan felt the tension in the room, but he also felt a strange hope. He could see in Lysara's eyes that she believed this could work. And for the first time, he believed too. One of the council leaders spoke. "Lysara, your actions are dangerous. Humans are unpredictable. How can we trust this bond will not bring harm?" Ethan stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "I understand your concern, but I have nothing but respect for Lysara and her people. I do not seek power or control. My bond with her is real, built on trust and honesty. I stand here not just for her, but for the possibility of understanding between our worlds." There was silence. The council seemed to consider his words. Ethan's heart raced as he waited, unsure what judgment would come. Lysara added softly, "We are not asking for permission. We are showing you that connection between our people can bring strength, not danger. We can learn from each other, and together we can create a better future." The council remained quiet for a long moment. Then slowly one member spoke. "You have courage," they said, "and your bond. It is unlike anything we have witnessed. Perhaps there is value in your connection. We will allow it with conditions. But know this, we will be watching, always." Relief washed over Ethan. Lysara's hand found his again, and he squeezed it tightly. They had faced the council together and won a fragile victory. In the following days, life began to change. The hidden garden became a place where they could meet openly, though always with respect for the council's rules. The humans and Sarilith began to interact more, learning from each other under careful guidance. Trust slowly grew, and the fear that had once ruled the city began to fade. Ethan and Lysara's bond deepened with each passing day. They shared their thoughts, their dreams, and their fears. Ethan learned about the beauty and complexity of Sarilith culture, while Lysara learned about Earth and its people. Together they built a bridge of understanding, one small step at a time. One evening, as they walked through the glowing garden, Ethan looked at Lysara. "I never imagined my life would lead me here," he said. Lysara smiled softly. "And I never imagined I would find someone who truly sees me. You are more than I hoped for, Ethan." He reached for her hand, feeling the warmth that had become a comfort and a guide. "We've done something important together. Not just for us, but for everyone." She nodded. "Yes, and this is only the beginning. There is so much more to learn, so much more to build, but I am glad you are here with me." Ethan felt a surge of joy. For the first time, he truly understood the meaning of partnership, of trust, of courage. The path ahead would not be easy and challenges would come, but he knew that as long as Lysara was by his side, they could face anything. That night, the garden glowed brighter than ever. The crystal trees reflected the light like stars in a sky of their own. Ethan and Lysara stood together, hand in hand, knowing that they had changed not just each other but the world around them. And though the council would always watch, and though dangers would always exist, they had proven that the bond of heart and mind could overcome fear and doubt. As they looked at each other, Ethan heard the familiar whisper once more. This time it was not a call but a promise. "Come to me, human, and I will never let you go." He smiled, squeezing her hand. "I won't leave." And in that moment, under the shimmering crystal trees, two worlds began to come together, united by trust, courage, and the bond of one human and one alien girl who dared to believe in each other.